Chapter 1. A Strong Craving. God fills our emptiness with His provision. It didn't seem like too much to expect. I loved my job as a publicist at a Christian publishing company. I was good at my job, and I was looking forward to going back to it part-time after I gave birth to my son, Matt. I was quite sure that I was so valuable to the company that certainly they would flex to accommodate my desire to be both an at-home mom and an at-work professional. But when I got the written offer with the new job description, title, and salary, I was devastated. It seemed designed to be too bad to say yes to. I can't think of too many times in my life when I've actually lain face down on the floor and sobbed. But I did that day. It felt as if something precious to me, a part of me, was being taken away. I felt devalued, unwanted. A short time later, floundering in the adjustments of new motherhood, I remember saying to my husband, David, I want my old life back. I want my old job back. I want my old body back. I want my old relationship with you back. I believed what I was doing at home with Matt was important, but honestly, it just didn't feel important. I remember going into the office to clean out my things and finding a message on my desk that one of the publishing company's best-selling authors had called and was asking me to call him back. Now, that made me feel important. I had such a strong craving for something that seemed to hold the key to my happiness, being a valued part of that company, that team. And I couldn't imagine how that hunger was ever going to be satisfied by changing diapers and playing on the floor with an infant. I couldn't imagine how I was going to be happy without that work title after my name, that work paycheck being deposited to my account, and that work significance supporting my sense of self. That craving dominated my life for quite a while, coloring my view of all of the goodness in my life. And I've had plenty of cravings since then. Cravings for things that were out of reach, cravings for things I've been unable to make happen. And I imagine you have too. We are creatures of desire. We have wants. And sometimes those wants become cravings. Cravings that cause us to lose perspective. Cravings so strong that they become the knothole through which we see all of life. That's how it was for the people of God who were rescued from slavery in Egypt. God rescued them so that they could live with Him in His promised land, where He pledged to satisfy them with good things. He brought them to the edge of the land He'd promised to give them, but they became afraid. They didn't trust Him. So they ended up spending 40 years in the wilderness, 40 years of in-between time in an inhospitable environment. But God did not intend for their wilderness years to be wasted years. Rather, He intended to use their time in the wilderness to teach and train them. He intended for them to learn that He could be trusted to provide for His own. 40 years in the wilderness would give them time to live out that belief and depend on Him day by day to meet their needs, even if He didn't assuage all of their cravings. There in the wilderness, He gave them the opportunity to discover what they really needed more than what they craved. We read their story of 40 years in the wilderness in the books of Exodus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. But we shouldn't read it merely as a story about distant, disconnected people. What we must see is that their story is our story. If God has rescued you from slavery to sin through the blood of an innocent lamb, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world, and if by faith you have taken hold of God's covenant promises to His people, centered in the person of Jesus Christ, then the Israelite story is your story too. Just as God did not intend for their years in the wilderness to be wasted, neither does God intend for the years you and I spend living in the empty wilderness of life in this world to be wasted.